What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Bigboyfactsjonnytv, and tonight I'll go on my WWE NXT Battleground review and highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications to get notified when I premiere a brand new video or go live on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. And let's get started. Now, WWE NXT Battleground was a 4 out of 10. It wasn't hidden tonight, but it would just say 4 out of 10. The WWE NXT Battleground kickoff pre-show opens up with Megan Morant, Matt Kemp, and Sam Roberts at WWE TV studios in Stamford, Connecticut. They hype tonight's show. We see NXT superstars including NXT champion Carmelo Hayes with the Boston Red Sox this weekend. Mackenzie Mitchell is in Boston and she tells us Carmelo Hayes will have friends and family in the crowd for the main event. We go to a video package on Dijak versus Dragunov with the last man standing stipulation. The panel in Stanford discuss Dijak versus Dragunov. We get a NXT Women's Title Tournament Finals high video on Tiffany Stratton. Back from a break, we get a video and discussion on the Heritage Cup. We see Heritage Cup champion begging Earl Mensah to be in his corner, and Nathan Frazier will be with Dragon Lee. Wesley and Braun Breaker. We see Braun Breaker arrive to the arena, and he tries to immediately intimidate a local DJ. Hayes and Trick Williams also arrive, and we see Carmelo Hayes speaking with the voice of the Boston Celtics. We get a tournament hype video on Laura Valkyria now. The panel discussed Tiffany Stratton versus Laura Valkyria now. Back from the break, we get a video and discussion on tonight's main event. That's it for the kickoff. Okay, so we get the 2023 WWE NXT Battleground Premium Live event opens with a video package looking at WWE history in Lowell, Massachusetts. We cut into a intro video. We're now live from the break, and Big Joseph welcomes us to the Tongass Center in Lowell. He's joined by WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. So we get the triple threat for the NXT North America title. Joe Gacy versus Tyler Bates versus Wesley. This was a pretty good match right here. Pretty good match. It says we get right to the ring and out comes NXT North American Champion Wesley. Tyler Bates is out next. He's not happy with Wesley. Joe Gacy is out with Tyler Bates. The bell hits and they all go at it, but they break and fall back. Tyler Bate goes for Wesley and Wesley dodges. Then asks why. Joe Gacy tries to get Tyler Bate to double team with him, but it backfires. Tyler Bate unloads on Joe Gacy and then Wesley at the ringside. Joe Gacy ends up hitting a suicide dive and a big power slam, but can't get the pin. Wesley slams Joe Gacy out of a sunset bomb attempt for two. Wesley with a poison runner on Tyler Bate for two. Tyler Bate miles offense with big suplexes and stomps for a pin attempt and in a kibble for a pop. Tyler Bate spins Joe Gacy around. They then keep him on his shoulders while doing a swing on Wesley. This leads to Tyler Bate slamming Joe Gacy for two. Wesley intimidatingly punches Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate and Wesley trade big strikes to dueling chants now. Tyler Bate backdrops Wesley into Joe Gacy's powerbomb. Then Joe Gacy launches him into Tyler Bate. Joe Gacy goes to slam Tyler Bate, but slams both at once when Wesley charges at him. Joe Gacy with a crossface to Wesley. He knocks Tyler Bate away. Joe Gacy smiles like a madman at Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate finally breaks the hold. Tyler Bates missed the shooting star press and gets caught in Joe Gacy's crossface, but Wesley breaks it up. Fans chant, "This is awesome." All three go at it now. Tyler Bate and Joe Gacy collide with moves. Then Wesley hits a double cardiac kick for two. Then another two count. Fans chant for tables as Wesley unloads on Tyler Bate. Joe Gacy drops Wesley but Wesley jumps on his back with a sleeper. Joe Gacy fades. Joe Gacy finally launches himself into the turnbuckles to break it up. Tyler Bay breaks up the pin and hits a Tyler Driver 97 on Joe Gacy 4-2. Wesley pins Tyler Bates for 2. Joe Gacy sends Wesley out, but he comes back in. Wesley knocks Tyler Bates to the floor, but Joe Gacy hits him. Joe Gacy goes to the top as Wesley jumps over the ring post and takes out Tyler Bates on the floor. Wesley comes back into a big range by Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy backflips at Wesley, but Wesley intercepts him with a cardiac kick for the pin and the win, and for the pin to win and retain. The winner and still your NXT North American champion, Wesley. This was a pretty good match. After the match, Wesley celebrates to a standing ovation. We go to replay. Wesley continues his celebration as we go to break. We get an NXT Women's Title Tournament Finals hype video on Tiffany Stratton. We also see NXT Champion Carmella Hayes and Braun Breaker arriving earlier as we saw on the kickoff. We get a video on the NXT Heritage Cup and British Rounds rules. So get the NXT Heritage Cup title match. Dragon Lee versus Noam Dar. This was a boring match. We go back to the ring and out comes Dragon Lee. Nathan Frazier is with him to be in his corner. NXT Heritage Cup champion Norm Dar is out next. He pulls in the ring with the cup as Dragon Lee looks on. The bell rings and they go at it. Noam Dar controls most of the first 10 minutes and goes for the eyes. Dragon Lee turns it around and focuses on the knee now. They get up and trade counters on Noam Dar, ducks a big kick to show off. Dragon Lee drop kicks Noam Dar off the apron as the first round ends with the bell. No, Orwell Mensah runs down to be in No Dar's corner. Dragon Lee takes control and unloads with big kicks in the corner for 2. They trade big strikes now. Noam Dar rolls Dragon Lee into a 3 count for the first pin as round 2 ends with the bell. Noam Dar takes control with a big kick in the corner. Noam Dar controls the match and slams Dragon Lee out of the corner. Dragon Lee lands bad on his neck. Dragon Lee comes back with a big hurricanrana to the floor. Then a big suicide dive for a pop. Dragon Lee brings it back in for 2 as he holds his knee. Dragon Lee with kicks as the round comes to an end. Dragon Lee with a big strike against the ropes as the bell hits. They go to back off, but Noam Dar drops Dragon Lee with a cheap shot back elbow. Noam Dar claims he didn't hear the bell as the referee yells at him. Dragon Lee unloads to start the round. Dragon Lee lowers him in for a roll up for 2. Noam Dar with an armbar. Dragon Lee with a crescent kick and a cloverleaf submission. Or Mansour tries to help Nondar, but here comes Nathan Frazier. Or Mansour drops Nathan Frazier with a cheap shot to boost. Drag Lee ends up pinning. Nathan Frazier rushes in and beats Or Mansour to the floor, and as Spence goes wild. Nathan Frazier with a big dive as he keeps brawling. Officials keep them both out. The bell hits, and here we go. They trade big moves and counters with Dragon Lee hitting hard on a big dive. They go at it, and Nomdar hits a huge power bomb for 2. Jakira Jackson runs down and jumps in the ring to distract the referee, allowing um Lash Legend to run in from the crowd and decks Dragon Lee with a spit bucket to the head. Norm Dar follows up with a Nova roller to Dragon Lee's to Dragon Lee's for the pin and the win and retain. The winner of the match, Norm Dar. This second match was boring. After the match, Lash and Jackson hit the ring to celebrate with Norm Dar. Or Mansour come back to join them. Noam Dar posed in the corner with the cup as we go to replay. Noam Dar and his new crew pose together. Back from a break, we get a promo for the next match. So we get the last man standing match, Dijak versus Dragunov. This was the match of the night right here. This match was incredible. This was fantastic, and this was the match of the night right here. We go back to the ring, and out comes Dijak as Alicia Terra does the ring introduction. Dijak stops at his wife and kids to tell them he doesn't want to see what's going to happen. The music hits, and out next comes Dragunov to a pop. The bell hits and they start brawling. Dijak with big shots in the corner. They trade big chops in the opposite corner until Dijak levels Dragunov. Dragunov with a big back elbow to break free. Dijak blocks a 619 by booting Dragunov to the floor. The referee cuts. The referee counts again. But let me, before I continue, can you imagine Dijak and Omos talk trash against each other? That would be hilarious. But anyway, let me continue. Dijak brings it back in, but Dragunov needs him out. Then unloads with big kicks. Dragunov slams him headfirst into the announcer table, drop him and yells out. Dragunov runs and leaps off the steel steps, but Dijak meets him in the midair with a big boot. Dijak launches Dragunov on the half of the steps. The referee counts, but Dragunov is up as Dijak pulls out a table. Dragunov charge and crashes them through a table. The fans chant NXT, and Dijak's apparently bleeding. Dijak is up at 9, but he's hurting. Dijak rolls back in. They trade big strikes now. Dragunov with a roundhouse kick. Dijak blocks a German suplex and knocks Dragunov back onto the steps. The referee counts, but Dijak grabs him. Dragunov counters a move and drops a DDT onto the steel. Dragunov is up at 5. Dragunov with knees to the face to keep Dijak down in the corner. Dragunov rams half of the steps onto Dijak's face while he's down. Dragunov goes to the top for a coast to coast into the steps, just like how Shane McMahon did. Um into Dijak's face, fans chant "Holy, you know what?" Now, as the referees counts Dragunov is up at 9, and Dijak is up right before the 10. Dragunov unloads with chops, but Dijak chops back and super kicks him. Dragunov chops him down to hit his knees, then hits a big diving forearm. Dragunov with more chops, chops, slop, and an elbow. The referee counts to a this is awesome. The awesome Chant Dragunov attacks and hits a German suplex for 2. Dijak gets right up, honking up and yelling at Dragunov. They go at it. Dragunov gets the upper hand and choke slams Dragunov from the ring to the floor. Dragunov makes it up right before 10, and Dijak is seating Dragunov's taunts him. Dijak hits feast your eyes, but comes back up. Dijak screams. Dijak screams. Dijak grabs a candlestick and taunts Dragunov in between stiff. Dragunov yells back at him. Dijak says Dragunov is forcing him to do this, and he delivers another stiff swing. Dijak screams for Dragunov to stay down and not make him do this. Dragunov screams in his face. Dijak with another big candlestick shot as Dragunov hangs on to the ropes and screams out. Dragunov brings a steel chair and said Dragunov forced him to do this. He puts it to Dragunov's throat, but Dragunov slaps him. Dijak with a shot to the ribs and chair shots over the back. Dijak turns back around into a torpedo Moscow for a big pop. The fans chant as Dragunov stumbles up and hits the running uppercut. Dragunov climbs half of the steps and hits the big diving forearm to the back of the head. while on a steel chair. The referees count as Dragunov looks on, and that's it. Dragunov is the last man standing. The winner of the match, Laja Dragunov. This was the match of the night right here. It says after the match, the music hits and fans go wild as Dragunov managed to stay up. We go to replay. Dragunov's pose in the corner to an ovation. To an ovation now. Back from a break, and Duke Hudson and hit is with his Chase U students. He yells at a guy named Ricky. Duke says he thought the job would be great, but it sucks. It's taking his will to live. He brought Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey to teach skills to the students. They end up showing a hall match and insulting her. She storms out crying. Duke yells at Dempsey and Drew Gulak, but they said there are no hidden from the truth and no crying and wrestling. Duke says they can't talk to anyone from Chase U like that. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Norm Dar and his crew. He goes on about making history with tonight's Heritage Cup defense being the first on U.S. soil. Norm Dar says they are now in control. So we get the NXT Tag Team titles match. The Creed Brothers versus Gallus. This was a um this was um decent. This was decent right here. Um, we go back in the ring, and out comes Diamond Mine, Brutus Creed, and Julius Creed of the Creed brothers. While with Ivy 9, Gallus is out next. NXT Tag Team Champions Wolfgang and Mark Coffey with Joe Coffey. Julius starts off with Coffee, and they go at it. Brutus ends up coming in, but Coffee grounds him. Both teams face off and goes at it. The Creed takes control. Julius with a big slam to Coffee for two. Mark doesn't see Brutus tag in until he hits a big bomb from the top. Brutus smash Coffee now. Wolfgang ends up hitting the blind tag and decks Brutus off the top. Throat first on the top. Wolfgang unloads on Brutus now. Coffee tags in with stomps for two. Coffee keeps control and then tags in Wolfgang for a sliding elbow. Joe Coffee comes back and as they continues to wear Brutus down. Brutus finally slams Coffee to break free, but Wolfgang rushes in to stop the tag. Julius ends up making Coffee scream with a dozen big suplexes to Coffee. The Creed with the standing moonsault and shooting star press for a two. Gallus ends up dominating Julius until a big Brutus bomb for a pop. The brothers hype each other up and show love to each other. Then they tell Gallus to bring it for a fight. The two teams go at it. RB9 ends up stopping Joe Coffey and sends him into Julius and takes him out. Ava of the schemes attack and sends RB9 into the ring post. This distracts Julius, which allows Gallus to hit the double team for the pin to retain. The winner of the match, Gallus. That was a decent tag team match. After the match, Gallus celebrates. We go to a video for the tournament finals. So we get the NXT Women's Title Tournament Finals. Laura Akira versus Tiffany Stratton. This was I might as well say this was god awful. We go back in the ring, and out comes Laura Raquel to a pop. Tiffany Stratton is out next. We get former ring introductions from Alicia Taylor. The bell rings, and they go at it. Laura Raquel dominates Tiffany Stratton, and they break. Tiffany Stratton counters, but Laura Raquel counters for it too, and she fires up. Tiffany Stratton mounts offense, but Laura Raquel leapfrogs and lands bad on her knee. Laura Raquel gets the upper hand and sends Tiffany Stratton out for a breather. Tiffany Stratton Laura Rakira out and crashes her knee into the ring post. Tiffany Stratton smashed the leg to the post again to boost. Tiffany Stratton whips the knees, breaks off, then brings Laura Rakira in with heavy offense to the hurt knee. Laura Kira kicks out at 2. Tiffany Stratton keeps slamming the exposed knee into the mat. Tiffany Stratton stretches her with a big bridge now. Laura Kira screams out and it breaks. Tiffany Stratton covers for 2 and continues with strikes. Tiffany Stratton ducks and kicks and drives the knee into the mat for 2. Tiffany Stratton with a stretch muffler now. Laura Kira goes on but rolls her for 2. More back and forth. Laura Kira with a missile drop kick, but her knee is hurting. They trade more strikes. Laura Bakura sends Tiffany Stratton to the floor, kick her through the ropes. Tiffany Stratton ends up getting countered into a big perfect bomb for 2. Tiffany Stratton dominates Laura Bakura in the corner for 2. Laura Bakura keeps trying, but her knee is going out. She rolls Tiffany Stratton for 2 and slamming her again for 2 as fans rally. Laura Bakura unloads and looks to put Tiffany Stratton away, but her knee buckles on a kick. Tiffany Stratton fights back, but Laura drops her for 2. Laura is shocked at the count. Van chant NXT now. Tiffany Stratton slams Laura Bakura, then hits the rolling senton into the corner. Tiffany Stratton goes up and hits the prettiest moonsault ever for the pin to win and the vacant NXT Women's title. The winner and your new NXT Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. This match was god awful. After the match, Tiffany Stratton celebrates to a big pop as we go to replay. Tiffany Stratton posts with the title. Back from the break, we get a video for the main event. We see both we see both competitors walking backstage. So we get the NXT title match: Braun Breaker versus Carmella Hayes. And this main event right here, this was a terrible main event. We go back to the ring and out comes Braun Breaker to boost. NXT champion Carmella Hayes is out next to a huge hometown pop. Trick Williams wraps an entrance for Carmella Hayes. Carmella Hayes has family and friends here tonight. Taylor does former ring introductions. The bell rings and they go at it. Carmella Hayes hits a big dive to the floor early on. Braun Breaker takes control early on, but Carmella Hayes hit a fadeaway leg drop for her too. Carmella Hayes with a single crab now. Braun Breaker breaks free and levels Carmella Hayes with a lariat for 2. Braun Breaker yells at Boston to boost. Braun Breaker with a belly to belly throw. Braun Breaker beats Carmella Hayes around some more and nails a big suplex for 2. Fans chant "You suck" as Braun Breaker toys with Carmella Hayes and Boston. Braun Breaker with another big overhead throw. Braun Breaker ends up hitting a big Frankensteiner for a close two count. Braun Breaker beats Carmella Hayes around while taunting the crowd. Carmella Hayes fights back, but Braun Breaker hits another German off the duck. Carmella Hayes finally breaks out of the Steiner recliner with a double knees. Fans goes wild as Carmella Hayes gets up, fighting back. Carmella Hayes unloads with kicks, then springboards attacks, and another close call. Carmella Hayes fights Braun Breaker off and hits a cutter for 2. They trade big strikes as fans count along. Braun Breaker posts Carmelo Hayes, but he comes back and misses the flying leg drop. Braun Breaker ends up hitting a huge spear in midair to intercept a springboard. Braun Breaker slams Carmelo Hayes around to loud boos as the referee warns him. Carmelo Hayes turns it around and hits a super kick. Braun Breaker hits his big springboard DDT and then the nothing but net flying leg drop for the pin to win and retain. The winner and still your NXT champion, Carmella Hayes. After the match, Carmella Hayes takes the NXT title to celebrate as the hometown crowd pops. Braun Breaker tries to recover as we go to replay. Trick Williams joins Carmella Hayes for the post match celebration. Carmella Hayes poses in the corner now as Big says the Carmella Hayes era is just beginning. NXT Battleground goes off the air. Like I said, man, the main event was terrible. Like I said before. But anyway, WWE NXT Battleground. was a 4 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say from here. But anyway, if you guys join my WWE NXT Battleground review and highlights, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on WWE NXT Battleground, because it was a 4 out of 10. It was not hitting tonight. But anyway, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys please hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications to get notified when I premiere a brand new video on YouTube or go live every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on YouTube. Follow my social media, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. I want you guys to have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. Kept your crew, kept your kings. Too sweet. I'm out of here. Gang.